Welcome, tiny television, great big table, bald man asking the questions. Yes, it's another Regcast, and today we're talking about business productivity. Now, with us today to talk about this, I don't know if you know this, but IBM, people at IBM have won 5 Nobel Prizes. Now, Nobel Prize winners don't often come out to do webcasts, and we're very honoured today to have someone who works in the same company as those 5 people. Garry Gomersall, welcome very much. Welcome.
Very nice to be here. Apologies for the stripy shirt.
That's all right. I gather you're a bit of an Elvis fan.
That's my thing, yeah.
Let's see if we can have some fun with that later.
Have some questions about that later, yeah.
Okay. Now, and also with us today, from a company for whom Nobel Prizes are very much on the to-do list, we have the man voted by his peers the second best analyst in the world, the man who puts the bar in bar chart, Jon, not safe for work Collins. Welcome, Jon.
Hello, Tim.
That's the sort of comeback I like.
Absolutely.
Okay, just a quick bit of housekeeping. You might know this already, but just in case you don't, you see the tabs on the top of the screen above my head here. For that, you can ask us questions. Please do that. When they come in here, I ask them here. Don't complain if we don't cover the things you're interested in if you haven't asked a question. Give us your feedback afterwards. We do more of what you want, less of what you don't want. You can find our bios on there as well, and if you want to download the presentation as a PDF, you can do that too. There's some of the slides here have lots of little pictures on them as well, so you might want to hang on to them for later, or else it'll be hard to remember exactly what they said. So with that, business productivity. Jon, why are we talking about this today?
Well, interesting. Maybe this is, I'm a bit more of a Beach Boys fan myself, and so this is my wouldn't it be nice slide. It ain't going to happen unless you can do the harmonies. So the wouldn't it be nice if everything just worked kind of thing. And productivity, it's one of those things, we use terms like this. We use terms like service and process and productivity and agility and all that stuff, and no one actually knows what they mean. So to have a whole presentation on one of those words is kind of bit scary, and our job really in this whole session is to make it very tangible and make it very real and engaging. So the first thing that we thought we need to work out really was what the heck is productivity, and having sort of had a long think about it all, really it boils down to 2 sides of the coin. The first is people, individuals, us, you, everyone doing their jobs, and just trying to be productive in some way, getting the work done in a way that is A, efficient, and it's not a problem for that work to get done. You don't get bored of it, and B, it's effective. So it's actually what the business needs. It's what, at the end of the week you want to say, yep, I achieved something, and then you balance that against the institutional view, if you like, which is the business is out there to sell stuff, to provide services. If you're a public organisation, to minimise your costs and maximise your service levels and all that kind of stuff, has a similar set of productivity requirements, but at the corporate level. And the challenges start to come immediately when you map between the two. There's been this traditional conflict between making the corporate view of productivity, which is often about making people do exactly what the business needs, with the individual view, which is often about being innovative, being creative, working better with peers, and so on and so forth. And within all of that, we as IT people have thought we've come up with the answers on several occasions. So we've come up with things like business process management. It's going to be great. We'll manage business process. It's going to be fantastic. It'll all sort itself out. Collaboration, all these tools, SharePoint, Exchange, Lotus Notes, you name it. It's all gonna make us much better collaborators, etc., etc., etc. We've got all these different stuff.
Exactly. Here's my problem. You see, I've been doing this for about 20 years, and you've been doing it for 2 or 3 times that. And there hasn't been a week gone by where someone hasn't spoken to me about business productivity. So what have we got new to add to this?
Well, to be fair, we're absolutely fantastic at inventing new stuff. So maybe the new stuff line isn't the best one to follow. It's more how we can actually get the old stuff to do what we said the old stuff could do. And it's not like we can just stop the world and make it all work. That's half the challenge, isn't it, Garry? That really we're trying to make the old stuff work at the same time as the world is going to carry on spinning and plummeting through the universe.
And it's very much around inheritance, really. all the good things that we've hopefully delivered in the past in terms of the technology paradigm, the ability to, this chart here talks around the real world of an insurance.
This is the real.
This is a real picture. This is just one example, and the point is that it's an interconnected world, and we want to try and build the ability to be agile in the context of a business that looks like this one. This is insurance. It's around, okay, within your lines of business, inside your organisational boundary, you have the need to interconnect, to collaborate, to be more responsible in how you manage business process. In the same way, recognising you're connecting to a broad network of business partners, different channels to your consumers, different third-party suppliers, and that's really the world that we're living in. And what we want to try and do is improve the ability to be more dynamic and agile in actually managing behaviour that impacts, in this case, an insurance business. So if you're the CEO or you're the CFO trying to find ways and ideas to invest for growth, for innovation, for improving your business performance and business model, you want to be agile in making decisions about who's supplying you, what outsourcing opportunity you may have, what new products you can bring to market more quickly, etc., etc. And that's really the backdrop, part of the context we were just talking about, the kind of why we're having this discussion around business productivity. Well, business productivity really needs to be applied at the level of where it can be most impactful to the business performance overall.
And to be absolutely clear, you're not going to tell us about half an hour in to buy lots of new stuff.
Absolutely not, no.
So sometimes we get people in the third chair that do that. Let's stick it in later on.
No, it's a combination of, clearly there's a combination of, as the products, technologies, methods and standards have matured, which is why we're having this conversation now, which is why it is a little bit different in terms of what we've been able to inherit in terms of previous iterations of this kind of component view of the world or services view of the world. And we now think we have more conviction, certainly as a technology provider, as well as working with the analyst community around how we demonstrate and put some roadmaps together which are more kind of pragmatic and more benign in terms of managing risk for a business. So that's really the kind of the design point.
So very briefly, for the people that you work, the customers that come to you, what's complicated for them now that wasn't complicated 5 years ago, for example?
Well, I think on the one hand, consumers' expectations are changing. So the whole kind of Web 2.0 story is really about giving new ways of actually accessing and interacting with a business. So there are real challenges as well as opportunities with the whole kind of paradigm around the social networking, the Web 2.0 kind of wave of technology. So that's kind of one area where it becomes more dynamic at that end of the scale. And equally, if you look at the recent collapse in financial markets and the apparent changes that will come around regulatory compliance, for example, not just in the case of FSS, but also if you're talking about the green agenda, for example, the whole kind of meeting next week in Copenhagen and beyond, there will be more regulation around how you manage your carbon as a business. So all those kind of provide impetus that are driving change and accelerating the change function. So that's why it becomes critically important to be able to manage that and expect it and really drive and assimilate that change much more readily.
There's a couple of questions come in already about this. I need to get this straight. Is this just for big companies? Because someone here is saying that this sort of thing's expensive. People, equipment, software, it's complicated. This sort of thinking is only for large organisations. This is a big company pitch you're making.
Well, no, that's a common comment. I think, and I understand where it comes from.
I'm not surprised making it to IBM.
Well, absolutely. But again, when I talk to small businesses and small enterprises, what I say is what they need to be more than anyone else is to be agile. If you're a small company, what do you want to do? You want to grow. You want to recruit new employees. You need to train them, enable them. You need to buy a new production plant, perhaps. You need to move into larger premises. It's all about being agile. And so service orientation as a paradigm applies equally well, if not more so, in the context of small business. And that's my experience. And I think it's about being practical and pragmatic in the decisions you make that actually are driving value for the business. So it's not about a discussion around putting lots of IT necessarily or lots of people into the IT equation. It's about what is going to pass the so what test as you try and drive and growth in that small business.